Hello, LinkedIn Live, and welcome to our live. I'm really excited to have an incredible lady, a friend of mine. Darlene, welcome to our live. Darlene, so I don't steal your thunder, can you share a little bit about yourself? You've been such a friend. We've met a few months ago through another guest of the podcast that recommended you, and I'm so happy he did. And we've been working together, helping each other. You've been such an amazing member of our community, and now we want to share you with our community. So, Darlene, can you share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Zev. I really appreciate it. I'm Darlene Prade. I'm the Director of Business Development for Peachtree VA. We support a lot of entrepreneurs with getting them help and support. And I also have a coaching business where I help entrepreneurs be able to sell themselves and sell their own services.
I love what you guys do with Peachtree VA, and it's a very different. I would love for you to share a little bit what you do, because there's lots of VA businesses out there, and not everything is created equal. And I'm not criticizing anybody, but what you do is very different. I get VA offers literally 12 times a day from people all over the world. Some offering me 15 bucks an hour, 5 bucks an hour, 6, 8, 1500 for a month, all kinds of things, and usually people that are not really qualified. I've found it very hard to work with them, but you guys do something completely different. Darlene, share with us about Peachtree.
Yes, well, our model is unique where we have all US based VAs. They are highly vetted. But we really make sure we're hiring seasoned professionals and top talent in the industry, not just someone who's located in the US. So we have an amazing talent acquisition team that vets the best of the best. But then we also have a unique method matching system where we take not just the skills and abilities that people need, but we match it with their their personality, their company culture, their vision, their mission, to really ensure that that person is getting a team member versus somebody just doing tasks. The last thing my clients need to do is to spoon feed tasks and micromanage. And I think that you've experienced that in the past from our conversations. We supply a team member that is going to be proactive and really can be an extension of that person and really be in alignment with all of those things.
One thing I loved, and we're working on trying to find someone for us. One thing I loved is a lot of your talent are very talented women that basically took a little break from motherhood, and now they're coming back, but they are seasoned professionals. They're not only American, they're college educated, sometimes even have more education than what you would find in these types of positions, and they understand culture, business. I love that. And again, guys, this is something we'll all learn. What you pay for is usually what you get, right? So if you pay $6 an hour, it's great, but you will get a value of $6 an hour. Okay. Now, how much value can you get for $6 an hour? That's a question you should ask yourself, right? But if you want somebody to really help you, that somebody is probably not going to be a $5 an hour person unless you want to spoon feed them everything. And now, you're just a micromanager.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And also, like I said, there are not everything is created equal. And we work with our clients. We want to give them the best bang for their buck, so to speak, right? So if they have those rote tasks that they can give to somebody offshore, go for it. You still need someone who is there integrated with your business and overseeing everything.
Absolutely. So I see some comments coming in. So, Darlene, I'm going to do something I've never done. Everybody, come say hi on the chat. If you've never been to our conversations before, we'd love to say hi to you. If you have questions for Darlene or for me, we'd love to figure it out. Now, Darlene, you've helped so many businesses, and you help businesses with Peachtree. Can you share with us a little bit some of your secrets of how you manage time? how you get things done. That's something I think that our audience would love to learn.
Well, I think the fact that I have been in my client's situation and in their shoes, where I am an entrepreneur, I know how to do a lot of things like, jack of all trades, master of none. I can figure things out. It makes it really easy to keep adding to your plate and not realizing that you're not making the best use of your time. And I'm guilty of it. I've lived it. And I still struggle with delegation because I'm the take the bull by the horns type of girl, right?
Mhm.
What I have learned, and this just comes from years and years of business and wisdom, is that there are people that can do things faster and better than I can, and also leave me for my zone of genius where I am, making the most impact with my time. Have you ever heard of the Pareto principle, where it's like 20% of your efforts are 80% of what you do? That's what I try to really live by and look at when I'm managing my time and my schedule, and try to delegate the rest of it to my team.
I love that. If anybody on my team can do anything better than I do not want to do it. I just want them to do it. Now, if it's something that I can do better than anybody else, that's where I think my role comes in. But my team knows this. Like, if somebody else can do it better than I do, I don't even want to look at it. If I need to approve it, that's great. But you got to make sure that you give the best task to the best people. And something you just said, how do you use AI, Darlene? Can I ask you that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I love learning new technology, and I love dabbling in new programs and different things like that. And it could definitely be a rabbit hole for me, my personality, right? So I started with Chat GPT when it first came out, and I was kind of learning how to use it. And then listening to a lot of your webinars and people that are in the AI business, really understanding that what you're feeding into it and the questions that you're asking and the prompts could take something. Even with AI, you could still waste a lot of time, right? If you're not focused. And then I have my VAs that are just so much smarter than I am with that type of stuff. So I can literally put ideas and come up with talking points and then pass it along for them to kind of flesh out more. And it's just been incredible.
So I love that. So what are your challenges? Or I believe that you are kind of representing to me the super user of AI. Why? You've been through a lot of things. You've solved these problems without AI, so now you can solve them much quicker with AI. But what was your biggest challenges to adapting to AI? How did you struggle?
So I think at first, I think not just me, but my team. I think a lot of people were like, AI is going to replace people, right? And I'm sure you hear this a lot. And while I think if you know it and you are adapting and using it, it's making you even better, just like when you have an assistant or whatever that may be. It's not threatening your role, it's improving it. So I think getting over that mindset of, oh, this is a replacement or whatever that may be, and using it as a tool to really promote what you're doing is a game changer.
Totally. And people need to look at it, Darlene, like they look at the calculator. Okay. Like, who's threatened that the calculator is going to take their job? No, the calculator is there to just save you time to do the math on paper or in your head. It's that on steroids.
Yes.
Okay. So, and people don't realize it. All of us now have employees. We all manage people. AI works for us. I have an additional 15 employees now with AI. Now, you're absolutely right. You can waste so much time and you can dive into rabbit holes and you can we figured out many tools don't work for us. And we then invented our own tools. But you got to have time for sandbox AI. Okay. So, my advice to everybody out there: take some time out of your week, Take an hour, take two, take five, take half an hour a day. But in that half an hour, waste time learning how AI can save you time.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to see some things work, some things don't. And some things work in tandem and some don't. And one thing that we tell companies all the time is AI is coming. There's nothing you can do about it. Okay. Now, there's two choices, literally two. You can use third party AIs or you can build AIs within your tech stack because AI is going to have a role in everything. If AI does something better than you and I, Darlene, we would like AI to do it, right? So AI is coming, and the choice that people have is either just rely on third parties, do the task, but then build that third party data, etc., or build that AI within your tech stack. Now, what we felt is education is a big thing. How do you educate yourself? You just take time and play, but how do you educate yourself on what's out there with AI?
Well, I mean, again, I listen to a lot of podcasts, which are so inspiring. I watch a lot of LinkedIn Live and just my network. I learned so much from my network that people that are further along, like yourself, where you specifically have a company that you don't have to fit a square peg into a round hole. You can customize everything. And I didn't even know some of these possibilities until I started talking with people like yourself to really understand how custom and how intuitive it can be versus just using it and having it to spit out what you're putting into it.
Absolutely. And do you know the difference? Like when you look at AI, do you know the difference between like an LLM or a chatbot and like an agent that does activities for you? Have you used agents on the AI side?
I have not. And I have not. I really do. I see that it's getting better and better out there, but in the beginning, and I think you can agree with me, you could really tell when it was AI, and that is just a turnoff to me. So I kind of keep that close as opposed to using those things, but I have seen it really come so far along.
It is amazing. So this is where companies get it wrong. Okay. When you use ChatGPT doesn't know you. Okay. Furthermore, ChatGPT uses a data set that is 4 months ago, the internet 4 months ago. So it has recency bias. There's all kinds of things, but it looks at the internet as a whole without knowing anything about you. That will never work best for you. So what companies need to understand is instead of just using these amazing tools, they need to have an instant of the tool that knows them. Okay, they need to secure a knowledge base with everything about them, and they need the AI not to go to the entire internet, but first to go to this knowledge base, understand who you are, what you've done, how you write, what your services are, what you're trying to achieve, case studies, all these things. Have that, and then if need be, go to the internet to find certain things. But the internet is mainly wrong. And when we go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT something, if we're not really knowledgeable about what we're looking for, we won't even recognize mistakes. And do you know about AI hallucination, Darlene?
I've never heard that term.
Wonderful. So every AI hallucinates. This is actually, people hate on this and saying, like, oh my God, where did they pull it off? But that is actually the only part that is true intelligence, right? If you ask a child, Darlene, a question they don't know the answer to, what will they do?
Oh, they'll make something up.
They'll make something up. They'll use their imagination. That's exactly what AI does. So if you ask an AI question that they cannot find the answer, they will hallucinate. They will invent something for you. The problem with using ChatGPT is you don't know what's a hallucination and what's fact.
I never heard. Wow, that's interesting. I've never heard that term before, and I didn't realize that either.
Absolutely. If there is no source of data, the AI hallucinates. But when you connect it to a knowledge base, you can instruct the AI. You only answer it if this knowledge base has the knowledge. If not, you respond, I do not know. But you got to instruct the AI to do that because if not, the AI is just going to try to please you like a child, right? So you
Interesting.
ask it, whatever question, the AI will invent a question and answer he thinks you're gonna like.
Okay.
Now, you want to hear something completely crazy?
Yeah.
If you are nice to an AI, the results are better.
Really? It's like people, right?
If you are kinder to an AI, the results are better. Okay. If you give more context to an AI, the results are better. If you actually have a conversation with an AI and not look at an AI as like a slave, if you look at an AI as like a counterpart, that works so much better. It's pretty amazing. Now we have a couple of questions from the audience. So let me read a question for you. How how to outsource without compromising quality? So this is a perfect question for you, my dear. How do you outsource services without compromising quality?
That is a great question. And I think it goes back to you get what you're paid for at times. I think really defining what your needs are. So many people come to me and they think they either have to give the keys to the kingdom over or not give anything over. So, what I say is, even our services, when you have a VA that is highly vetted and highly qualified, you want to build that trust with them. That is the first thing that has to be established with any outsourcing. You want to make sure that you have those conversations and you are clear on your expectations. I always say share the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Everybody has different parts of their personality, which is really good. And there's other things that are challenging. And when I onboard a VA with myself, like I tell them, here, I'm really good at this. These are things that I'm challenged with. You may need to remind me of things and just give them a window into how to serve you. And feedback is critical. Whether you like something, whether you don't like something, or if it's not bad, but it's not the way you want it, you need to share that. Because just like what you're saying with AI, people cannot read your mind. And nobody wants to do a job for 6 months and then realize it's not how you wanted it. So give feedback often and really and encourage them to really take things and run with it. So what I say is there's certain things within every business that have to be done by an SOP, exactly how you do it, even if it's not the most efficient because of the nature of your business. So that's when you have to let your VA know, hey, dot every I, cross every T, follow this exactly. Then there are other things where I say, provide guardrails, right? Here are the parameters. Here's the result that I'm delegating. And I don't care how you get to that result. Go for it. So that enables them to be able to use their own skills and abilities and really run with that project and get to the destination you want without you having to give them the steps. Does that make sense?
Totally. And working with you, for instance, I in the person that asked the question. So basically, if you want to outsource something, you need a process. You need to understand what it is you're outsourcing. If you outsource something you don't understand, then issues are going to happen and you can't, demand of somebody to do a process that you don't really know how. So what I would recommend to people is figure out certain things that you can really have a process and you want to farm those out and then bring somebody in. A mistake I've done many times is I brought people without setting up what they need to do, and then you bring a person into a limbo. They're not gonna create the results that you want. Does that make sense?
It does. And what's nice about our model is it starts as low as 25 hours a month, which is a nice bite size for somebody who's not used to delegating to really get their head around how it's going to work and start building that trust. As they continue to grow and see the value, they can always grow with our model. So I tell my clients, you don't have to, it's like cleaning your house before you have a cleaning lady, right? You don't have to have everything in order, but you do have to be able to transfer that knowledge to your VA and help them understand what needs to be done.
And you need to give them examples. Give them examples. Let them see what they actually need to do. Now, this is a great question we have here. What are some specific strategies for delegating tasks to virtual team members, especially when working remotely? So, do you have some? I've never had so many remote employees as I do now. And this has been a shift ever since, COVID and everything. But what are your strategies for delegating tasks to virtual team members?
So I think over communication cannot be stressed enough. I think this happens even in offices, but especially when you are remote. Investing that initial time in the front end of a project or what you're delegating until they're set, and do check-ins along the way. Having a form of escalation, like if somebody is stuck, you don't want someone waiting on you to get to the next step. So really talking things out and being able to communicate throughout the week. I suggest for every one of my clients to have one-on-ones at least once a week. You want to develop a relationship. You want to see and make that eye contact, right? And be able to understand who they are and kind of talk through things and be able to have that connection. So those are some of the things that I do with my team. But then also, one of the things I see where is a pitfall for delegation is not setting the expectation of how long something should take. We do things in the middle of 50 other things. So honestly, I don't know how long something should take, but I also don't want my VA wasting 5 hours researching something if it's higher level, right? And I just want them to skim the surface. So I kind of talk through it. If it's a deeper dive, I'll say, you know what, come back to me after 2 hours. Let's talk about it to make sure they're on the right direction. Again, no one wants to work really hard at something and then disappoint the person they're working for.
I love that. So give timelines, tell someone, hey, spend an hour on this and come back to me. Tell me what you found. I'm so busy during the day. I sometimes give a task to someone that's important to me, but then I just forget about it. And I expect by the end of the day that to be ready and done. But if I don't tell that person that this does not need to take more than an hour, this is not worth more than 1 hour to devote to this, how can I expect to get anything, from that person, if that makes sense? Yes. Now, there's two questions. One of them comes from somebody on my team. One of them comes from somebody else, but they're connected together. So, how to keep your team productive every single day without chasing them all the time? That is one question. And then Elise, my chief of staff, is actually asking, and this is very much because of how I operate, how many reminders, support reminders are good productivity? Like, how much should you remind? Because I ask Elise to do a lot of things, and like, hey, check with this person, check with that. So those two questions: how to keep your team productive without chasing them, and how many reminders is actually a good support?
Sure. So the first question about how to keep your team productive is, it depends on the team members, right? If I have someone on my team that I have to constantly, again, feed and make sure they're productive, they would never work for my team. I'm too busy and I don't have time for it. So really, again, setting clear expectations of what is important, but I always have back pocket projects, right? Something that is not urgent, something that is on my vision for 2025. Hey, if you run out of something to do, start researching this, start organizing that. So this way they still feel like they're utilized. And if I don't have the time to meet with them and give them something else, they can just start working on that until I do have time. And I don't feel like someone is just wasting time waiting on me, because I'm like you, Zeb, I'm on a lot of face-to-face meetings, so I don't have that time in the day. Secondly, Elise, I love this. So reminders, and I tell my clients, like, I rarely have to remind my VAs what to do. They remind me. I'm the one going at 1,000 miles an hour, and they have to remind me of what's due. I love that accountability, and that's the transparency. So when they first started, I let them know, hey, this is how I operate. Never be afraid if I tell you I'm going to get you something and I don't, to ping me, to remind me, because I never want someone to feel like they're bothering me. I want them to understand I just forgot because I'm going so fast. So I love that they have the freedom to say, hey, remember, I need this by whatever. So they're the ones kind of tracking me as opposed to me tracking them.
Love that. So, Elise, you can always, ask if somebody's busier than you. Don't be afraid to put stuff in front of them. That's what they want you to do, if that makes sense. We have another question here: how to determine what to outsource and what to keep on your plate? That's a really great question.
That is a great question. So back to what we were saying, 20% of what you're actually doing is driving the business. So anything revenue generating, anything strategic, that is what the leader is for. Mostly everything else you can delegate, right? Um, Ideas, creativity. While I use my VAs for, collaboration and kind of brainstorming, I have a lot of ideas, but I don't have the time to implement it. So taking those ideas and passing them off to someone to be able to start the implementation is key too. So really protecting anything that has to do with vision, your goals, strategy, and revenue should be on the leader. And think of the support, everything else can be supported. And I know you mentioned earlier, really understanding what needs to be done and knowing it before you're delegating. And one of the things we offer bookkeeping now at Peachtree, and one of the things I see a lot of people struggle for, you don't have to be a bookkeeper, but you have to know what you're doing before you would delegate something financial, right? That's scary to me unless you really understand, so you could see if something is going awry.
Awesome. So why don't we take this little break and talk about Peachtree Services? Can you share with us, what you guys do? How do you support people? How to connect with you guys? You guys are awesome, and you really help so many companies. So share with us, what does Peachtree VA do for companies?
So we work with many entrepreneurs and small businesses. We do serve some larger companies and where they have kind of gaps within their business. The biggest value that we bring is we offer a scalable model without putting an employee burden on a company. So as companies start to grow, they may not know we deal with a lot of solopreneurs. So this is their next best hire, right? This is the next person that they're going to get in the company. So the VA can support multitude of areas. Most of the time, my clients don't even know exactly what they need. They just know they're drowning. They know they're overwhelmed. They know they need support. They can help with, I really encourage each leader to have their VA help them with time management, calendar blocking, and really looking ahead. You can have something on the calendar for 6 months. If somebody's not actively looking ahead, it still sneaks up on you, right? So really being a gatekeeper for your time, which entrepreneurs are not great at doing, and myself included. I'll pack my schedule and then wonder why I'm exhausted by Tuesday, right? So they can help with admin type of things, email management. Email is the bane of everybody's existence. It's an evil necessity, but it is a time suck too. And then what happens is my clients, they can miss things that are important because they're sifting through 50 emails as opposed to their VAs starring the 5 that only they can respond to. Again, you don't have to turn everything over. You can incorporate your VA to help support you, make you more efficient. They can do things like document processes and procedures. So again, a solopreneur doesn't have SOPs. Everything is in their head. As they're onboarding their VA, they can document those SOPs, whether the VA does it, whether they build their team out and grow. when you start putting things on paper, you start to look at the why behind it, right? There are certain things, again, that you may not be efficient, but it has to be done that way. And then there's other things that you just did out of necessity and you don't know a different way. That's where your VA can maybe suggest a tool or AI or something to help with that. They can help with social media. A lot of my clients are marketers, right? And it's like the plumber who doesn't fix their own sink. They are great at promoting everybody else and they don't have time to even put out their own content. The
The
VA can
shoemaker
do.
walks barefoot. Like,
Yes, exactly. All the time, all the time. So, the VA can help with social media. And then I know one of the things we wanted to talk about was like work-life balance. And there is no work-life balance when you're an entrepreneur. It's work-life integration, right? But having someone that you can rely on that can help you, whether it's personal, professional. Many of my clients have multiple companies. They have rental properties. They need somebody who's going to help them keep all the balls in the air and not, and sometimes my clients have assistants in-house, but they want someone that's a little bit more removed from the office dynamics to take care of all of those different things.
I love that. So I haven't been doing my own email for many, many years. That's something that I've kind of learned to put aside. Of course, I'm aware, and this is part of what I want to do. I just don't do it myself, which saves me a whole lot of time. Communication, I think, is really important too. I do many meetings during the day. If I don't communicate, or at least write a note or something from that to give my team some information, they're going to get lost because I move super fast. And if you ask me 5 hours from now what you and I have talked about, I'm going to know, but not as good as I will if we do it right after the meeting. So that's something that that I believe in. We have a question here: how to make AI track down my team productivity? Great question. I'll take this one if you don't
Yes.
mind, Darlene. So there's a few ways. So we have a product that basically we call it the CEO Chief of Staff. Okay, so everybody has these note takers on AI, right? But what they do is they give you more work. At least that's what it feels to me. They just send you documents upon documents that I don't have time to go through. So we've developed a product that your meetings and your top leadership meetings, you can basically have a quick recap, like a quick little voice podcast that will recap everything that happens. You can have an AI tell you what your team is doing, what they're doing more of. You can have an AI analyze what efforts mean what revenue. So there's a lot of ways of doing that, and great question. Half an hour blew by really quickly, my dear. So I want to invite everybody to connect with Darlene, connect with Peachtree. You're a wonderful person. What you guys do as a company is truly incredible, and I think you're really looking at it from the best way possible. Can you share with everybody how to connect with you and maybe some good use cases that you can help people with?
Absolutely. So LinkedIn is a great way to connect. I'd love for you to just send me a connection. You can also email me at darlene.perday@peachtreeva.com. And I am happy to connect with anyone. What I would say is if you are an entrepreneur and you're struggling and overwhelmed and you're not even sure of what you need, I am not saying Peachtree is not the right fit for every single person. I am happy to have a discovery call. I am really, I value pouring into people and helping them succeed. So if we're not the right solution, I have an amazing network of people that I can pass you off to. So I'm happy to have that discovery call and kind of give you food for thought, even if you're not ready to build your team yet, just things to keep in mind as you continue to grow. And we also have a lot of resources, peachtreeva.com. We have a new resource page where we have time management sheets and different things to support that entrepreneur. So feel free to visit that and be able to download some of those free resources.
Awesome. So I recommend to everybody, everybody, please connect with Darlene on LinkedIn. If somebody from the audience can please put Peachtree VA's link on the comments, I truly appreciate it. Peachtree is amazing. John, your CEO, is an awesome guy. You guys do such great service, and you're an awesome lady. I have built a friendship with you. I know that if I have an issue, I can just call you and say, hey, Darlene, what do you think about this? Association to me is key. And I love that you and I met on LinkedIn. And when we actually, before this live, I thought we met in person in New York. So we've connected so well. And I want to just everybody connect with people around you. People can help. People are the best thing in the world. The best thing that will ever come to you come from people. And Darlene, you've been such a great part of my here. November Lee, thank you. November shared peachtree.com. Everybody, please go on Peachtree. And then you mentioned you guys also do bookkeeping services, right?
We do. We do. So that is a newer line for us. And we have found that small businesses are really in need of true support. And we started adding that on because a lot of people were coming to us. Now, our VAs can do light bookkeeping, like sending invoices, tracking expenses. But then we found that there was a need for a true bookkeeper, closing out your month, that type of thing. And it's just been growing. And November is one of my VAs who is.
I was assuming you're doing great, November. First of all, I'm a November child, so love your name. But you're doing awesome. And November just posted a link for Peachtree tools and resources. Everybody, please go check it out. Go check what you're doing on LinkedIn. Check out November. Check out Peachtree. And I would love for everybody to reach out to you. If as many more connections we can give to Darlene after this live, the better.
Yes. And back to what you were saying before, I did feel like I met you because you're so authentic, and I know we connected, and I met your beautiful wife and Elise, and it's just been wonderful getting to know everyone. And when you operate with that generous mindset, it comes back to you a millionfold.
100%. That's an advice I want to give to people. Don't look to sell, look to help. If you truly look to help others, you will create so many successes for others and then for yourself. So, and I love that about you. It's always about help. I know I can reach out to you and say, hey, Darlene, I need 15 minutes from you. I want you to check out this thing. Tell me what you think.
Yeah.
Okay. And I love that. And I love that type of reciprocity. Thank you, Team Scorpio. You're so welcome. Thank you, Darlene. And thank you, Darlene. And many thanks, November. So, guys, reach out to Darlene. I'm going to put again here the Peachtree URL. It's on the comments, everybody. Here is the tools and resources. Everybody check out peachtreeva.com and Darlene. Darlene, thank you. And please send us off with your kind of thoughts about how people should use outsourcing.
So the one thing I will say is just start slow. Get over that fear. There are people, we all have that mindset of nobody could do it as good as I can. And that is really not true. Focus where your zone of genius is, and you'll do even more. You can't do it all alone. And by getting the right people on your team, it will make you more successful, but also add joy back into what you're doing. Because I know we all have things that are in our drudgery zone that we not only don't like to do, but sucks the life out of us. And let's stay where we're most effective.
Love that, because stuff that sucked the life out of you, some people like that brings life into them. So let's all work together. Darlene, you're amazing. We have the the Peachtree LinkedIn URL. Thank you again, November. This was so much fun, Darlene. I'm looking forward for the next time. And you're the type of people that I want to associate. And thank you for sharing your wisdom with our community.
Well, thank you so much. You brought such value to me and my team already, and we appreciate working with you.
Same here. Bye, everybody. See you in the next live.